Imperialism, the expansion of power after the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution transformed the world in ways no one could have imagined. Machines increased production, factories expanded, and European economies began producing on a massive scale. But this growth created a new problem. Industries required ever larger amounts of raw materials and new markets to sell their goods. In this context, a new phase of global expansion emerged, known as imperialism. During the 19th century, major industrial powers such as Britain, France, Germany, and Belgium entered an intense competition for territories outside Europe. These nations sought regions rich in natural resources like gold, diamonds, rubber, oil, and minerals essential to keep their industries running. At the same time, they needed new consumers for manufactured products. Imperialism was not only territorial expansion, it represented a new form of economic, political, and cultural domination. European powers began to control entire regions, imposing their laws, economic systems, and often their culture on local populations. This expansion became known as neo-colonialism because, unlike earlier colonial periods, its main objective was to sustain industrial growth. One of the main targets of this expansion was the African continent. Africa possessed vast natural wealth and a great diversity of peoples and cultures. However, these characteristics attracted European powers, who viewed the continent as an opportunity for economic growth. In the late 19th century, a historic event known as the Berlin Conference took place, where European countries divided African territories among themselves without considering the populations living there. This artificial division created borders that ignored traditions, languages, and cultural identities. Peoples who once coexisted were separated, while rival groups were forced to live under the same authority. Many tensions and conflicts still present in some African regions today originated in decisions made during the imperialist period. European control over these territories aimed primarily at economic exploitation. Natural resources were extracted in large quantities and sent to European industries. To maintain this production, many local populations were forced to work under extremely harsh conditions. In some cases, forced labor was imposed, causing suffering and social destruction. Beyond economic exploitation, imperialism also attempted to impose European cultural values. Languages, religions, and customs were introduced, often replacing local traditions. This process deeply affected the cultural identity of many peoples and created impacts that are still felt today. Imperialism also influenced global politics. Competition for territories intensified rivalries among European powers. Each nation sought to expand its influence and demonstrate economic and military superiority. This competition contributed to growing international tensions and became one of the factors leading to the First World War in the early 20th century. Despite domination, colonized peoples never fully accepted this reality. Various resistance movements emerged over time. Rebellions, revolts, and cultural preservation became ways to fight oppression and maintain identity. These actions showed that even under foreign rule, traditions and cultures remained alive. Over the decades, imperialism began to weaken. The two world wars exhausted European powers, reducing their ability to maintain colonies around the world. From the mid-20th century onward, independence movements gained strength in many regions of Africa and Asia. New nations emerged, beginning complex processes of political and economic reconstruction. Even after the end of direct colonial rule, many consequences of imperialism remained. Economic structures based on exporting raw materials, social inequality, and political challenges are reflections of that historical period. Imperialism helped shape the global distribution of wealth and power that still exists today. Understanding imperialism is essential to understanding modern international relations. It reveals how European industrial development deeply influenced other regions of the planet. It also shows how decisions made in the past continue to affect entire societies in the present. The history of imperialism is not only about domination and exploitation, it is also a story of resistance, adaptation, and the struggle for identity. It is a crucial chapter in understanding how the world became both interconnected and unequal. And this story continues to influence debates about economy, politics, and culture in the 21st century. If this content made you reflect or learn something new, you can support this work by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps more than you imagine and allows me to keep bringing stories that are worth telling. There is also a link below for anyone who wants to follow more closely. Thank you for walking with me this far.